welcome to Legal IT Insider's Talking Tech Podcast, where we bring you conversations with senior leaders across the legal technology sector. Today, I'm speaking with Chris Cartrett, who is CEO and President of Aderant, and Andy Hoyt, who's Chief Technology Officer. Hi, both of you.
Hey, Caroline, how are you?
Hey,
Thank you very much for this.
I suppose I should introduce myself, Caroline Hill, Legal IT Insider. I suppose that kind of goes without saying. It's great to have you here. I don't know if you need introductions particularly, but for anybody who needs an introduction, Chris has been with Aderant for 10 and a half years. Before that, he was at Thomson Reuters, where he was Vice President of Sales and Account Management for large law firms. Andy joined Aderant from IT services and consulting company NCR Corporation. And before that, he spent over 6 years at IBM, where he was Vice President of Developer Experience, API Management and Gateways. Did I get that right?
You did get that right. I spent 17 years at IBM, but that was the last piece that you covered, was my last role there at IBM.
Oh,
that was a long title, Andy. That was a very long title to say.
It was.
You know what? People always do that to me because I like to do proper introductions, and the titles, they just get longer. And I'm just sat there sort of trying not to trip over. So it's really great chatting with you. So over the last few years, Aderant, you've grown massively. You've expanded your product suite, both through acquisition and internal development. You've now got, I was having a look in prep for this podcast. I was having a look at your product suite now, although I've written about all of them, at some point in the last couple of years at least. So you've got obviously practice management, where we started. You've got time entry and compliance, bill delivery, knowledge, litigation, people management. And I've been going through some of the acquisitions, which really sort of started in earnest in 2018, 2019. And I know you've just come out of your Momentum, so your user conference, both in America and London. So I thought it would be great. There's been some big announcements this year, which we will talk about. But I thought it would be brilliant if we can talk about some of the key sort of highlights from Momentum in terms of developments. We're going to come on to talk about, for anybody who wants to learn about Stridyn, which is your new cloud platform, we are going to get to that, which has caused a lot of chat and interest from people I've been speaking to. So, but let's start by talking about some of the more recent announcements or the roadmap perhaps that's come out of Momentum. Tell me what some of the recent developments or things that you were focusing on at the conference.
Yeah, it was really good. We had so this year we did our global Momentum in Nashville, and then we always have our EMEA Momentum in London. And the conferences they went really well. I think we had record attendees at both of them. I think the biggest thing right now, it's funny, everything that we do obviously is now cloud-based. Matter of fact, we used to jokingly, last year everything was cloud first. Today, it's now cloud only. So we were able to, kind of double down on some of the investments we made over the last few years. We were able to, we launched a new AR automation tool that literally takes everything from your banking records and, as you're paid, kind of lines that up with your matters, automates it through AI, allows you to post easily. So there's a lot of just what you would consider, Caroline, as just more innovative things that technology allows us to do today. I guess some of us would probably joke and say these were the promises of legal tech years ago. That now we're actually being able to fulfill. And so the conference was really well received. Striden was without question the biggest part of the announcement. And I know we'll get into more of that probably a little bit later. But for me personally, I think the largest kind of takeaway just in getting to spend time with our clients and everything else, we've probably spent over the last year more focus in just lifting the talent inside Aderant, if that makes sense. Andy being kind of a key part of that, almost 2 years ago now, and then Doug Matthews, who came over to run our product team. So we've really been investing heavily in kind of, we'll just call it upskilling the people inside the business. And I think that is why you're seeing more innovative solutions come out, where we're able to produce products, bring them to market faster. Last year, the introduction of Maddie, which is our kind of trained AI tools, applying that across all of our different applications. It was a really good, energetic, fun conference. And so, anyway, we've been really pleased with the results too. It's always fun when you spend money like that, Caroline, to get a nice little bounce after. And so, we're just coming out of Q2 right now, and we just had a record Q2 for the history of our business. So yeah, we're
You've been busy.
We're feeling blessed. Let's put it that way. So
let's come back. So you talked about all being cloud. So I want to ask about. I want to come back to sort of the customer reaction from Momentum and perhaps what they were taking away. But you mentioned cloud and everything being cloud. So practice management was almost like one of the last bastions on-prem solutions, right? It's been, and I've seen a lot of change in the last year. What's your strategy around that? It's, you're having to respond to what you know is coming down the track and what you know is happening within your customer base, and sometimes those two things are not always the same. But what's your strategy right now in terms of
you asked that question spot on. So I will tell you this. So like if you think about Expert, which is what most people know Aderant for, which is the practice management solution, we still have over half of our clients globally that are on-prem. What's happened though over the last 2.5 years, every single law firm though that is signed for Expert has actually done it in Sierra, which is our cloud-hosted version of it. And so it's actually going really well. So if you think about all new clients coming on board, are coming on board in Sierra. So when I say Sierra, just know Expert, but in the cloud. And then I think today, and Andy, I'm kind of looking at you if I'm correct here, I want to say maybe it's about 40 to 45% of our traditional on-prem clients have also now transitioned over. So I'm hoping by the end of 24, at least early 25, we'll kind of cross that 50% threshold. But it's interesting, Caroline, everything else that we have is cloud only. And it's fun when you have these conversations. There's still a lot of people out there that are like, no, I just can't put my financial system in the cloud. And our running joke has been, hey, we mean no disrespect by this, but all of your banking is currently in the cloud. So there's still a little hesitancy. Law firms are not always the quickest to want to take up new things. But anyway, we're making progress.
We're making progress. And actually, I think there's going to come a point when the functionality, that they can enjoy, and it's going to be so complicated to manage, some on-prem, some in the cloud, and they just won't have the benefit of the functionality. The conversations that I'm having with law firms, I mean, there's still that reticence that you just identified, which it's still there. But I think there's this sort of, they're seeing strategically, that it's a lot of work maintaining systems on-prem, and in terms of being able to get the full functionality when you've got a company like yourselves where you've got lots of, you're putting together lots of cloud offerings. It just is quite complicated for them.
Let me tell you what the biggest thing has been, Caroline, that I'm noticing. Andy, you can jump in on this too. So think about, we mainly work large law firms, like big, massive global law firms across the world, down to maybe 50 lawyer-ish, globally. A lot of those firms, the early providers who were creating cloud solutions, you had limitations for what you could do as it related to integrations, and you had limitations for what you could do as it related to workflows. And so because of some of those, we'll just call them past sins of some early providers that were out there, that's caused people to be a little bit more hesitant. Our goal has been, no, if you're able to move to the cloud, there should be no limitations, zero. All your integrations, all your customizations, everything as something that we would be able to handle. And so Andy's team, others here have worked long and hard with our partners, AWS and Microsoft, to really make sure that we could bring a cloud application to market that still allowed people that same kind of access, so that there are no limitations when it comes to your integrations, and that there are no limitations when it comes to your customizations. And because of that, I think, one, that's led to most of the success that we've had as a business. Because if you and I, we've joked about this before. I mean, a law firm is a law firm is a law firm. But sometimes the secret sauce of a law firm is how they want to serve their client differently than maybe how another law firm does it. And they do that through some of the workflows or some of the unique things that they want to do internally. And your software needs to be able to support that, not limit that. So, Andy, I don't know if you want to add anything to that or not.
I think you said it. I think you said it really well. It's about giving them the flexibility that they need every single day and being able to offer that in the cloud. And so they can, kind of like what you were saying there, Caroline, right? Especially around, is going to be hard to manage in the future, and you're not going to be able to get even some of the latest and greatest capabilities or innovation that's happening there. But so doing all of that in the cloud for them and being able to give them that innovation is certainly just the key piece to our strategy, and bringing them along so they can take it when they're ready is the other piece towards it, versus, hey, you have to shove something down someone's throat or other aspects around it. It's really about, being able to give them the flexibility of taking the capabilities when they're ready, and they can incrementally add on as they see fit.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you've spoken about this recently as well, but just to talk about it here, in terms of time frame, are you giving people a time frame? Are you saying, like, by so-and-so, you've got to be here, or are you allowing them that complete flexibility?
No, we're allowing them to move over. I mean, someday could that happen? That was way, way, way in the future, though. But as we sit here today, we're allowing them to move over. Probably the biggest thing going on, this goes back to my cloud only, all of the new products, though, that we're bringing to bear, like we truly are trying to automate everything from work to cash. So think time entry all the way to how you get paid. And so those innovations, though, you do have to be on our cloud platform to receive those. That's not being done punitive against people who are on-prem. Like, we're still bringing things to on-prem clients. It's just that within the cloud technology, we can just do this faster, better, cleaner. The upgrade process, basically the challenges there go away. And I think that's been a lot of the incentive for why people have wanted to move over into the cloud, is they do want to take advantage of these new solutions. And that's really the only place that we can bring them to market.
Yeah, certainly what I'm hearing. Before, so I'll come on to Stridyn, because that also answers a big piece of what we were just talking about. But one of the things that you announced during Momentum, before we get to that, was around your new technology partnership program. And I know that you've had partnerships before, but this is different, right? This is a brand new technology. So it's the emphasis being on the word technology partnership. And as part of that, you announced a partnership with Big Hand around business intelligence, which I thought was really interesting. It'd be great to hear some more detail about that.
So this is actually really important, because a lot of our clients, all of our clients actually, leverage multiple technology vendors. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. And so one of the pieces, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the platform, is people need some more seamless type integrations. They need things to be more consistent, to have confidence that when there's changes in a product or whatever else, that their other applications will work more seamlessly. And so Big Hand, I mean, especially if you think about their Iridium product lines, some of the other product lines that they have, are used by, a large number of our clients. And so the two of us started having conversations about, hey, how do we serve our mutual clients better? And so this relationship was truly about, let's create a situation where a client who may be running an on-prem Iridium product, or maybe they've transitioned into their cloud-based BI tool, that we can create a better integration to create a better experience for our mutual clients. And so Big Hand was first to do this. I have so much respect for Sam and what they've done there as a team. And we'll continue to do this with some other technology providers here in the upcoming months. So anyway, we hope it's something that actually benefits our clients. We think it just, we do think it'll be a better experience, though, for everyone as we go forward.
I think it's great. And I think people will respect the fact that on one level, so I agree with you that the clients, they just want simplicity, right? They just want integration. Yeah. They want as few touch points now as possible, for all the reasons that we always talk about. And actually what I think is really good is that on one level, you're doing this with somebody who could notionally be seen as a competitor, which I think that they'll respect. They'll respect your reasons for doing it. And I think they'll appreciate that, because, you're making this, it's sort of helping them with the integration. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. We look, they're good people, most of them as well. So we're really happy to be in this relationship.
I know them very well. They're good fun. They were the reason for I had a headache the other day, though. I'm going to blame them. Just put this on record. So let's come to Stridyn. So I know for a fact from speaking to people from the American conference and the UK conference, this is what's the real buzz is about. It's your platform that kind of integrates everything, right? So it's your cloud platform. I'm trying to find what I wrote. So perhaps Andy, before I sort of murder describing Stridyn, but I am fascinated, and I've written about it, and I'm definitely am familiar with the detail. But Andy, describe it in some detail for us before we kick off talking about it.
Yeah, sounds good. So I like to kind of just, look at it from the viewpoint of, really what a platform is and describing it so that you can see and better understand kind of the value that they'll get from kind of what we're delivering. Because it's the core capabilities of what we have is, nothing that they buy or do other things. It's about the experience and how we're delivering our software as they move forward. So, I think about a software, it's a framework of software that is intended and designed to work together in harmony. And I like to use that word harmony because it's really, you think about an orchestra or other things and just how things get so perfect and all are working, seamlessly together. And so that's really what it is, the key aspects of it. And so it's a set of, tools and technology and services that really provide that foundation for Aderant, for us, for developing and deploying and managing the applications, but our partners as well. And so it's really the base around all of the different things. So we talked about Big Hand and the partnership of having it. And so being able to leverage the same, our data, the tools, the technologies, kind of all in a seamless fashion to make it easier when the products work together is there. And it goes into that view then and says, well, I can now easily add and subtract different components easier and faster than ever before. Because when we think about the partnerships, hey, if they've got a component that is critical to run the business, or it's just a nice add-on, we'll just add that into, the whole ecosystem. Or, Aderant comes out with a new one, we can simply replace it. And it's no longer, you worrying about messy upgrades or migrations that take forever and a long period of time because of the effect. When you have this platform as a foundation, you're able to easily just add and subtract different aspects. I think one example I love to share with folks is Facebook. They're a platform, and I think a lot of times we hear Facebook and it's like, hey, this is a social media application or other things, but it's so much more than that when we think of it, right? It's that set of services, tools, and products, and they're provided for not only Facebook to develop their software on, but it's for the third-party developers to create their own applications and service that actually access the data in Facebook. And that's where we see all of the different games and the marketplace and all of the other aspects kind of showing up on one view. And that's the design of what we're doing with Striden. And so for us, then we're doing is say, okay, that is the strategy and that's what we're delivering. And so then we're providing the best in class user experience so that, the clients for the different applications can work, how they want, where they want, when they want, right? Access from anywhere. So whether it be on, your mobile device or, your laptop, whenever, being able to have that experience and then have it work seamlessly together. A lot of the different things, with the software is like, hey, you have these different apps, but bringing it all together is out there. And so with that, we're then providing, the set of services that kind of go along with it, right? And so those are the core capabilities. So, Chris mentioned, the AR aspect a little bit earlier today. And so adding that and plugging that in. So we'll continue to build out all of that, provide easy access, again, like I said, for our partners to leverage it, as well as then everything, which I know we'll touch on potentially a little bit later, is infused with AI and our Maddie capabilities as well in a seamless fashion.
I'll add something to that, Caroline, real fast. Because I think the biggest thing for us was, we have all these different products that you were talking about at the very beginning. We wanted to do something because this is big. A lot of people say, hey, this is our platform. But the reality is, if we're honest, it's an app, meaning it's an application. The goal here was a true platform that actually enables every product that we already have. Then, as we continue to move forward, literally everything new that comes out is like truly hooked directly to the platform. And the way Andy was describing that, we think is like really critical because, our clients build some of their own stuff. So the idea was, how do we allow them to do that in a way that works more seamlessly with our data to allow them to do the things that like they're already out there trying to build? The more bespoke systems we have, the more complicated the managing of your IT infrastructure becomes. So if we can help that become a more seamless experience with our applications, other vendors' applications, and then also for the ones that they're building themselves, we think that's going to really kind of accelerate innovation, but it will definitely create a better experience for everyone.
That's so helpful. The way that someone described it to me, in terms of the benefit, that they said, obviously you've got one. They use the word interface.
Yep.
Same. So you've got Striden is where you sort of access if you've got 4 different Aderant systems, then it will feed into that, and you can then start to do analytics across the whole thing, right? So you've got the benefit of one window, I guess, one way of accessing that information rather than having to go to these different systems. And then also potentially you can start to make sense, correct me if I'm wrong, but then in terms of understanding what some of the data is telling you, then you can start, because you've got it in one place, you can start to run analytics across all of the data, which then starts to tell you a more interesting story.
That's exactly right. So we've actually already rolled out something. It's called Stridden Analytics. And it's in private preview today. Private preview meaning we've just got I think it's 10 law firms that are currently running it just to kind of put it through the ringer. And so that's the type of stuff that it enables. So it's not just you looking, we mentioned expert before, not just you looking at your expert database, but then also marrying that with the information that may exist within Bill Blast or information that may exist within VI that talks about all your talent and the people coming in. And it literally allows you to bring those things together. And so as we go forward, that will also, this is a piece that we're trying to make happen today. We want you to be able to plug in any other data that you may have also to be able to be managed there. So, law firms are doing more and more today with data lakes and just other more vast systems. We need to be somebody that enables that versus being somebody that sometimes can be a limitation to that. This is the big stride forward to achieve
Stridyn. Is that
there
right?
You go.
And did you say, just to be clear, so with you mentioned Meta and that platform approach, so Stridyn, it's not just Aderant systems, they can access the third-party systems or no?
Yes. That's the whole point. So it is where your APIs, everything else sits. So
okay, cool. I wasn't clear about, from speaking to people, they weren't clear about that, so it's interesting to clarify that.
And it's really like the foundation. So it's certainly as Chris said, the integrations that we can certainly have with the existing products and all seamless. And then it's about, as we work with some of these partners, how do we make that even the experience even better or more closely aligned? So, we talked about, the single user interface and then the data, as Chris said, around that. But now you bring that in and then they can build the system, on the platform itself. It's no longer just, maybe an API call or stuff. You can actually do things a little bit richer or a little bit more integrated, so it actually feels like one product. And that's the beauty of kind of what we're doing. And so working with a few partners on bringing that to life as we move forward as well.
Do you think that will make people feel like they don't have to rush to the cloud or not?
Well, you have to be in the cloud to do it. That's the key. So like most of our clients, when they move to Sierra, the second you move to Sierra, you actually are now leveraging Stridyn. If you're on Bill Blast today or iTimekeep, you're leveraging Stridyn. Okay. As we continue the development inside Stridyn, though, what happens is we're able to bring, for lack of a better term, we'll just call it new features, right? Innovation to market faster. Okay. So you do have to be in the cloud, though.
You have to be in the cloud, fine. So it's not like almost like in my head I was thinking maybe people could have it as like a kind of, I don't know. Okay, fine. So you have to.
So we had like one product that we developed that we were able to more easily integrate into an on-prem environment. Yeah. But like, for example, we have a brand new GL that we'll be releasing very early next year. It's actually, it too is already in private preview. And so that application, to take advantage of it, you have to be within our cloud. There's no way, because once you get into those types of applications, the way the authentication and everything else works, we have to have you in our cloud environment.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And just before move on, I just want to ask you real quick about Maddie and also AI. So you said people don't have to buy Stridyn. Is that so? What does that mean?
Yeah, no, that's the point. Stridyn is just something that for literally every one of our clients that's leveraging one of our cloud applications today, Stridyn actually has already been creating features and better things for them as they speak. That's the key about this. It was not something that they needed to buy as much as it was an enabler to bring additional functionality into the applications that are there. And then as we continue to develop, all of those things are like truly a part of Stridyn. So it allows us to bring products to market faster. So that was probably one of the biggest parts about this. One of the things that you try to learn from other people's mistakes is too often when people were trying to take people from on-prem into the cloud, it became this kind of painful journey, and there's just massive change management. And so, credit to Andy and Doug and their teams. The idea was there's a better way of doing this. We can take care of this core infrastructure, for lack of a better term, that would then keep the clients from having to do these kind of radical conversions of data or whatever else it may be, and actually be able to bring the innovation directly to where they are. And so that was the key point about this. So, Caroline, we actually did this last year. Yeah. But when we did it then, if I'm really honest, it actually only benefited us, meaning like we were able to do more shared services. We were able to do more things behind the scenes. This year, though, the clients were actually finally seeing applications on the front end. So that's why we went ahead and branded it and put it out there as a bigger deal.
And just real quick, so Maddie, so you've talked a bit, I know Momentum, you were talking about how people will be leveraging Maddie in order to get the full benefit. Can you just explain a tiny bit more about that?
So real fast, for those that don't know, so Maddie, when you hear Maddie come out of the Aderant mouth, it's a lot of different AIs. And I'll let Andy kind of speak to that in a second. So, but with the reason we branded it Maddie is we wanted people to understand that we're trying to bring AI fit for purpose for whatever the thing is that they're trying to do. And when you hear Maddie, know that we've been training it for a period of time on Aderant data. So when it comes to narratives that relate to time entry, we've been training it on all these other narratives that we have across thousands of clients across the world. Same goes with outside counsel guidelines, same goes with rules, whatever else it may be. So the idea with Striden is it just allows us with Maddie to bring it across all of our different applications faster. So, Andy, I don't know if you want to speak to that real fast. We're about to have AI week here internally at Aderant here in 2 weeks, because we're trying to get all of our people here to also be leveraging AI as well. So this is a big thing going on across the business. So, Andy?
Yeah, it's and so that's really what it is. It's I like to say it's the you choose the right tool for the right job. And so there's like so much technology that has come out over the last, year and a half in this AI space. And there's lots of different, I'll just say the large language models, right? The foundation for this generative AI. And there's a lots of them. If you go to, the open source community, there's over 500,000 of these different things that you can choose from. Now, some of them are duplicative of each other, or small, or not as good, but fundamentally though, they really excel at different things. And so that's what our approach is, to be able to leverage what they're good for. So then we can then provide really great solutions as best as possible. And as Chris said it, we spend the time of just training it and training to make sure that the time our customers get it, that they can see the value immediately from it. What we see from a lot of other things in the market is, hey, you go out there, you give it to the client, and then they're training it for a year, and it may not even be that great. And, the work is there. And so our approach is, no, let's go and deliver this for our clients with a great experience from day one to solve all sorts of the different problems.
Thank you. Do you know what? We're pretty much at time, but I can't resist. Just one real quick last question. So we've touched on Gen AI, but where do you see within the business of law, as opposed to the practice of law, where do you see it going in terms of transformation? If I gave you your crystal ball.
Yeah, no, listen, I think it is going to be seismic. And I really mean that. So first off, let's just pay attention on the legal research side. If you look at the things that Lexis and Thomson Reuters are doing right now, it's really impressive. And you can only imagine, we're early. So just imagine where that's going to move to. In our world, the business of law, the opportunity for us to help, I go back to that improving work to cash all the time, helping a lawyer when it relates to everything related from time entry to the things then that they are creating that relate to a bill, to how all that stuff moves through the entire ecosystem. That is happening right in front of our eyes, Caroline, right in front of them. I'll also say this, and something, I'll give Andy some big kudos on this. The other big thing that's going on, if you pay attention, Clifford Chance rolled out Copilot, right, to all of their lawyers globally. Yeah. And we had that happen with several law firms here in North America as well. Well, you're starting to see more and more firms with a pickup of ChatGPT-4. Well, there's also a lot of innovation that's just happening in the technology space that, as a provider, hey, I don't need to recreate the wheel. There's a lot of things that we can do to plug into that The firms are already spending money on it. So the idea is, how do we help them get the maximum amount of value of that investment in Copilot or that investment in enterprise ChatGPT or whatever else it may be, to leverage and do some of the things that it now makes available to you inside your business. Like I said, we're about to have AI week internally here. Every employee is going to have to come up with something really cool, Caroline, for how they can improve their job with AI. So this is something that we truly believe in. Yeah. I think it's going to be earth-shattering. So
I can't wait till next Momentum and see, perhaps we'll be talking about some of that stuff. Andy, did you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just agree with Chris, right? I think that what technology has today is going to allow all of us, from whether it be the law firms themselves or folks like Aderant, to be able to really provide just great solutions that are going to make our law firms more productive, more innovative. And I really see it changing. And I think it's an exciting time actually for our industry with this technology that's around.
Okay, well, thank you, guys. I look forward to perhaps having the same conversation after Momentum next year. And we'll see what happened out of your AI week. It's exciting stuff. Chris, Andy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Caroline, so much. Take care of yourself. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks.